Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Listen, when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, the man has done a lot in the sport of boxing. He can pick and choose whatever fight he wants, right? But my thing is this. Canelo says he wants to become a billionaire. This whole thing about fighting David Benavidez. David Benavidez came out and spoke. He doesn't say a lot. It's one thing if his dad is talking or his brother says something. It kind of take what they say with a grain of salt. But when David Benavidez says something, it's like Adrian Broner. Those guys don't lie. So if you didn't know, which a lot of people are aware of this by now, Canelo was offered like $60 million, a $60 million guarantee, not including pay-per-view, live gate, different modes of revenue. Canelo was offered $60 million to fight David Benavidez. Now, David Benavidez came out and said this, and he doesn't lie. And you know what sucks about that? Is Canelo was basically trying to screw David Benavidez because Canelo is going to get $60 million guaranteed plus whatever else, right? David Benavidez was only going to get, check this out, $5 million. And out of that $5 million, once David paid everybody in his camp and everything their money, Benavidez would have been left with like $2.5 million. That's not even talking about taxes and everything. And David Benavidez knew that he was getting screwed, but he went on record and he said over the last 7 years, he's been making great money thanks to Al Heyman. He was like, so money's not an issue with him. He was fighting Canelo, wanting to fight Canelo for the opportunity because he wasn't worried about it because he's been making so much money fighting over there on PBC. And then he said he doesn't know what happened. But one thing we do know is Canelo isn't fighting him. Let me tell you something, right? It doesn't matter if you're a Canelo fan, Benavidez fan. We should all be able to, in a community way, say that Canelo Alvarez putting duck sauce on the fried rice. Simple. It's quite obvious he does not want to fight David Benavidez. I don't care what Canelo says at this point in time, what Eddie Hearn says, he doesn't want to fight him. Now, I'm going to tell you something. The same way, now this is just me thinking outside the box, right? The same way Floyd was able to influence Ryan Garcia to not take a fight, to not initially take that Devin Haney fight. But now we see what happened, right? Ryan's taking the Devin Haney fight now. I personally think that Canelo was about to sign that deal. My understanding is that they both signed. I don't know what happened. I'm hearing different things, right? But what has remained consistent, that's what I'm talking about, is Canelo was offered a guaranteed $60 million plus other modes of revenue. But what I'm thinking is maybe Eddie Hearn, because he and Canelo are like, you know, they got a bromance going on. Maybe he got a hold of Canelo. Maybe they talked. And maybe there was a way that he was able to get out of that contract. And for him to work with Eddie Hearn, if not fight exclusively on the zone or go fight somewhere else, which right now, so many rumors, Canelo may be going another direction, not necessarily the zone direction, but could be working with Eddie Hearn as like an advisor to go and fight elsewhere, but then make the Benavidez fight wherever Eddie Hearn feels there's a benefit for Eddie Hearn. And Canelo feels like, you know what? I'd rather go this direction because if I can get $60 million from PBC, how much can I get from these other guys? Because it's no secret that the biggest fight in boxing is Canelo and Benavidez. And probably next would probably be Tank and Devin Haney, if Devin Haney can get past Ryan Garcia. But when you look at it, it's for me, it's just really exhausting And it's really annoying knowing that Canelo was offered $60 million, man. And he wouldn't fight David Benavidez. So David Benavidez to accept a $5 million flat rate and he won't fight him. This is the same crap that Tyson Fury was doing with Usyk. It's like we're going to make sure we give him the kind of offer where he's going to say no and we're going to say he turned down the fight. But Usyk didn't turn down that, 25 million, 25%. And Tyson Fury gets 75%, whatever that split was. And Tyson Fury was like, oh shit. He called my bluff. And Tyson Fury still didn't fight him. He is now, but at the time he didn't. And now you see Canelo kind of had his bluff called, like, all right, I'll take the $5 million, whatever. It's nothing compared. You're going to make 60. I just want the opportunity to kick your ass. Called his bluff, and now Canelo's still not fighting him. So at this point in time, I agree. Canelo can do what he wants. But no one can tell me, right? Because if Canelo was going somewhere else, because there was more money to be made, I can understand. But when you're getting a $60 million guarantee plus other modes of revenue on top of that, and you won't fight somebody, you're putting duck sauce on the fried rice. It's quite simple. All right? So that being said, Canelo, I don't know who he's fighting next. You keep hearing about Munguia. I would not be surprised if he fights Munguia, right? Munguia can fight. I don't know. People out here talking about, Canelo's going to walk through Munguia. How? Y'all crazy? Munguia can fight. You hit Munguia once, he comes back with an 8-12 punch combination. He hitting you with a bucket of chicken. Like, he go Pollo Loco in the motherfucking ring. So I don't know what y'all talking about. Munguia can't fight. Munguia's going to get walked through. You crazy. But what I will say is this, is there's a bit of an opportunity there for somebody to get in the ring with Munguia and Munguia's next fight and to tranquilize him. And the reason I say that is because Munguia is in between trainers. I mean, he went from Eric Morales, now he's with Freddie Roach. And you could see in Munguia's last fight against Ryder, although Munguia, he was doing some stuff really good, but you can see he wasn't doing things instinctively. It was more like, I trained on this, let me come in the ring and think about what I need to do. He was just, to me, a split of a second. As a matter of fact, he was a whole second behind of getting his offense off like he was doing before when he was just in there, going all out, mash up, crash up, and doing things instinctively. Now, at least in this last fight, you could tell he was thinking more, which is a good thing. But if someone's going to clip him, this would be the time, because he's not just sitting there doing things instinctively. However, I do think a guy like Munguia, if you bing him, it's like Arturo Gatti when he hooked up with what's his name, Buddy McGirt. He was trying to take him from a brawler to a boxer, and Arturo Gatti showed that he was a boxer puncher, more like a puncher boxer. That much could crack, right? But if you bing Arturo Gatti, the game plan goes out the window, and he goes back to what he knows: mash up, crash up. And I think that's going to be the same thing with Jaime Munguia. If he gets binged by Canelo, Munguia is going to go straight mash up, crash up, and we're going to get the fight that we really want. You know what I mean? The Pollos going loco. But that being said, David Benavidez, he's got a tough fight. Canelo's fight with Munguia is a tough fight too. I don't know which one's tougher, David Benavidez's guy, Gvozdyk. But let me tell you something. Gvozdyk can fight, man. People out here thinking, oh, David Benavidez is cherry picking. Are you crazy? That is not an easy fight for David Benavidez. I think David Benavidez should win. But that shit is not an easy fight. It's not. And y'all gonna see when they have the fight. I think David Benavidez can make it look easy, but when you look at a guy who's, out there in the amateur circuit, all the accomplishments, all the championships, fighting with Usyk and Lomachenko out there on the Ukrainian team, Olympics. Y'all do your research on these guys. One loss, he lost to Benavidez. Everybody loses to Benavidez. And he didn't get clipped in the early fight. He went to, I think, the 10th round or so, but he just, what happens over the course of the fight. Benavidez he just destroys you. But that being said, Canelo, in my opinion, putting duck sauce on the fried rice. There's as of right now, with the information that I have available, I just don't see it any other way. Quite simple. So we'll see what's next for him. Do I think Canelo will fight Benavidez? If they pay that man maybe $100 million, maybe then he'll fight him, because $100 million is $100 million. You know what I'm saying? Y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.